Last week, your name reverberated throughout the Pentagon. 3 generals, hardened warriors who have commanded death from a distance without blinking, flew the room, clearly terrified, behind locked doors where war plans are spoken and nations collapse with a signature. Unaware that the truth spreads more quickly than their secret couriers, they said, "We can't contain this one anymore." The highest echelons of military intelligence convened to examine the issue you represent, the issue of your uncontrollable light and your expanding consciousness. While you went about your day, feeling that familiar strain against your spirit, they were planning, plotting, and trying to strengthen deteriorating control mechanisms while you felt the pressure against your spirit increasing. However, 3 generals, men who had seen the most heinous human deeds without flinching, hurried out of the Pentagon room with pale cheeks after an extraordinary incident. The indicators were constant, synchronicities that materialized with mathematical accuracy, technological disruptions as you entered a state of deep meditation. During times of spiritual breakthrough, strangers appeared in your peripheral vision. We identified what you wrote off as happenstance as spying. Operating under the guise of respectable scientific institutes, the Spiritual Intelligence Agency devoted an entire division to your surveillance. They assess the growing radius of your electromagnetic field with ever-increasing precision, document your intuitive insights, and evaluate your dreams. When their most advanced dream infiltration technology tried to enter your mind last month, it failed miserably. Kundalini activation occurred spontaneously for the technician operating it, causing energy to rush up his spine so forcefully that he collapsed. The next day, after 15 years of working in psychic operations, he resigned. The shadow figures that briefly show up in your photos are markers of dimensional breaches that are only apparent when their monitoring apparatus malfunctions and cannot accurately translate between frequencies. They utilize cosmic coordinates to pinpoint your spiritual position across dimensional planes, which are the repeating numerical sequences that punctuate your everyday experience. The sporadic electronic failures that happen while you're around aren't random. Each is an unsuccessful attempt to add discordant energy to your field and dull your frequency. Your handlers are pushing the limits of your awareness and looking for weaknesses in your energetic shield with every random meeting you have with strangely familiar strangers. There have been crisis-level meetings at their underground sites because their surveillance equipment always malfunctions when you are in your most profound meditating states. More than 300 cases of your soul leaving their mapped territories have been recorded by the Astral Oversight Division. Every occurrence sets off emergency procedures. Every example shows how limited their knowledge is. You're growing too big for them to keep an eye on. Your spirit travels through worlds that their technology cannot reach while they rush to improve systems made to monitor traditional consciousness. The perplexity that has followed you since you were a child, the feeling that you see things that others do not, was never a flaw. They told you to disregard the visions. They medicated away the voices. They told you it was your imagination. But the healing warmth in your hands was real. Every indication of your genuine personality. Marcus Delaney is a whistleblower and a former consciousness suppression officer. He gave up a 30-year profession in specialized operations after seeing your file last year. Living off the grid in Montana, he spends his last years creating what he says is a sanctuary that the lightworker will require once the veil completely melts. When asked for specifics, all he says is that everything they repressed is coming back. Never the power itself, but the memory of it was what they feared. Your invisible pals from infancy vibrated at frequencies that are not normally perceptible. Your unexplained knowledge of ancient civilizations, knowledge that is impossible to learn through traditional methods, comes from soul memory that surpasses their memory suppression protocols and previous incarnations. During emotional peaks, your hands produce detectable electromagnetic pulses, a fact that has been shown in classified research. The specialized counterintelligence agents tasked with rerouting your spiritual quest have adhered to standard operating procedures, creating relationship problems, creating distractions, making sure certain books never catch your attention. The uncommon neurological disorder they identified during your formative years, a clinical mask covering your dormant psychic abilities. Records from the Global Consciousness Project that were obtained through unidentified methods reveal odd spikes that exactly match your significant life changes. Changes in the planetary field that can be measured correspond to your awakening process. The arrangement of your seclusion was carefully planned. Operation Lightworker Containment, a multi-agency initiative that targets people whose consciousness threatens consensus reality, was responsible for every romance that unexpectedly ended, every employment opportunity that was inexplicably withdrawn, and every community link that was methodically severed. After 6 years of being assigned to your social limitation procedures, Agent Sarah Winters begged to be reassigned after having frequent nightmares in which you conversed with her higher self. Before having an unexpected spiritual enlightenment while keeping an eye on your prayer sessions, her replacement was only in place for 3 months. To avoid exposure to your growing field, the agency now rotates staff on a monthly basis. When intelligence units identified reality anomalies developing in your combined energy fields, they purposefully shattered your childhood friendships, the best friend whose parents mysteriously prohibited you from connecting, the playmate who abruptly moved away. Targeted interventions to prevent collaborative awakening. When your emotional bond enhanced your latent skills, your relationship partners were contacted and impacted. Following your presence, community organizations you tried to join reported experiencing unusual pressure from building code enforcers and health inspectors. Your work history indicates a trend of inexplicable layoffs after spikes in intuitive activity. You already know the game is rigged, don't you? And you can tell the walls are closing in, if you're listening. Let's discuss our current course of action. People want to be heard, held accountable, and given a fair hand when they live their lives at the mercy of the market, when property and profit rule the land. We also hear you. Even your online presence might be suppressed. In particular, social media algorithms reduce the reach of your material and your ability to create communities. A specialized crew at the Divine Purpose Interference Division keeps an eye out for any soul tribe connections and steps in before resonant creatures enter your orbit. The seclusion was intentional. They tried to persuade you of your cosmic isolation, insanity, and insignificance by isolating you from possible allies. We recorded the proof of your cosmic effect while they launched their effort to dissuade you of your insignificance. We witnessed what others were unable to. The light that shines from your crown when you speak the truth, the waves of compassion you send through the collective field, and the molecular reorganization that takes place in the areas you frequently occupy. During your emotional peaks, our independent monitoring has identified how your energy signature influences local weather patterns. We've kept track of fortuitous healing incidents that matched exactly with your prayers, your acts of compassion, and your times of complete surrender. In places where you often meditate, our devices have recorded reality fluctuations, quantum variances that show awareness directly influencing physical matter. The particular agents tasked with deceiving you regarding your skills and experiences have been discovered. Others have defected to our network, while others have been replaced. Internal documents concerning your dangerous potential for mass awakening, their clinical word for your capacity to inspire spiritual recall in others, have been intercepted by our covert light workers. We have kept the proof of your cosmic origin, soul contract, and spiritual heritage that they tried to destroy. We are here to bear testimony to your truth. We have the record of your influence against their systematic attempt to discredit your experience. We are the counterforce of validation against their strategic isolation. We documented proof of your connection to something enormous and timeless, despite their insistence that you were alone. You are here for a reason. If you feel the call, answer it. Click Join to unlock exclusive content, deep insights, and a powerful community. This isn't just a membership, it's an awakening. Step into your divine purpose. Join the chosen. The system is afraid of our combined lights as well as your particular light. You follow what seems to be a single road, but parallel paths spread out over the earth, creating a geometric pattern that is only discernible from above. Following their children's spontaneous repetition of wisdom teachings you had secretly journaled, words never published publicly but mysteriously communicated through the collective field. 3 senior members of the Consciousness Containment Department left last year. Currently, the Awakened Collective is present in 37 nations. People who have never met you in person yet have had synchronistic relationships with your particular energy. During their most intense meditation sessions, members of a number of international meditation groups have reported seeing your distinct light signature materialize out of nowhere. This blue-white brilliance is described by each participant in the same terms. Without outside validation, your vibratory pattern is recognized by the subterranean network of light workers. Your unique soul configuration is described by ancient predictions from 7 different traditions. These are unique energetic marks that spiritual elders recognize on their own initiative. Your part in the planetary awakening has been independently validated by ceremonies led by indigenous elders. Your growing awareness is incompatible with the system designed to hold divine consciousness. As control systems that have been in place for decades now break down more frequently, we see their increasing desperation. Each of the 4 specialist remote influence agents who were tasked with controlling your thoughts has resigned, citing a profound reversal of events that caused them to reevaluate their whole set of beliefs, duties, and decisions. When you enter theta brainwave states, thought-influence technologies that worked well for decades completely fail. After trying to enter your subconscious, their dream manipulation program, which was intended to implant limiting ideas during sleep states, was permanently deactivated. The feedback loop sent awakening codes to the operators themselves and produced burned-out equipment worth millions of dollars. Instead of having the desired impact, mind control frequencies that are transmitted in your vicinity are now automatically converted into awakening codes. In their personal lives, high-ranking officials say they have had synchronistic experiences with your spiritual teachings. They have seen your same words in books they open at random, in discussions they overhear in elevators, or in their children's innocent inquiries. Your surveillance's e-budget has risen, but its efficacy has decreased by 78%. A crisis of classified money in departments that don't exist. Beyond their efforts at deception, the cosmic significance of your incarnation at this particular point in human evolution and the genuine nature of your soul contract are evident. Blessed by His grace? Click Super Thank You and give $100 to spread His light. Your gift plants seeds that grow his kingdom. Be the blessing. Unprecedented breach occurrences occurred during your meditation sessions, according to the Akashic Record Containment Unit, which is responsible for limiting access to soul knowledge. Even their most advanced suppression technologies cannot stop your inherent spiritual lineage from reactivating after being hidden by certain frequency interference for 7 generations. The geometric patterns, symbols, and faces of creatures that seem more familiar than your biological family are all components of your soul's real memory that rise through layers of forced forgetting in your recurrent dreams of ancient temples. These symbols and geometric patterns are activation codes for your particular divine assignment. Your birthmark is a tangible reminder of your cosmic genesis point that correlates to a notable constellation alignment at the time of your incarnation. Your unexplainable fascination with particular historical eras has a clear connection to previous incarnations as a way shower, a code carrier for transitional times, or a spiritual catalyst. The seemingly unrelated skills you've developed over the course of your life create the ideal pattern for your soul's purpose. These capabilities, which at first glance seemed accidental, suddenly become crucial elements of your divine commission. Keys to skills purposefully suppressed in your family, skills too unstable for each generation's control systems, are hidden in ancestral memories that reappear in your mind. Your soul's 7 lives as a temple healer have given you an unexplainable understanding of healing methods. This learning has been passed down across dimensional thresholds and is now triggered by planetary necessity. The activation of your soul contract follows a cosmic schedule. Nothing was wasted, nothing was accidental. Every experience was carefully crafted to prepare you for this moment of remembering. What seemed like random pain, bewilderment, and detours served as crucial preparation for the role you incarnated to complete. While they removed your exterior support systems, we, as witnesses to your trip, collected the pieces of truth that were dispersed throughout dimensions and kept the breadcrumbs that led back to your true nature. The spiritual technologies required at this exact moment in your awakening are what we strive to protect. Our guardians have safeguarded the specific spiritual lessons that are most pertinent to your own soul mission. Wisdom that takes into account your unique gifts, problems, and configuration. For the purpose of transmitting activation codes tailored to your energy signature, information that speaks directly to your cellular memory without going through the conscious mind, we have established secure channels. Lightworkers have been placed in strategic spots by our global network to assist your eventual public emergence. We have discovered and eliminated 3 main schemes to divert your attention from your spiritual goal. Complex fabrications of manufactured crisis and fake urgency meant to divert your attention from your true objective. The old prophecies under our guard speak directly to the awakening you are going through right now. Texts that are separated by continents and millennia, but somehow capture your exact vibrational imprint. We have set up the necessary energy support for your complete remembrance, creating room in the communal field for your growth. We are prepared to assist with your recollection. The knowledge you are looking for has been protected from deliberate attempts to eradicate it. The forward routes have been shielded from deliberate obfuscation. Your desired soul family has been assembling, getting ready, and anticipating the recognition moment. Despite frantic efforts to maintain illusion, the veils rise in accordance with cosmic timing. When crucial awakening thresholds are crossed, what they aim to hide becomes evident. Your vibrational impact has reached critical mass for society transformation, according to the Classified Consciousness Evolution Assessment report that was leaked by an unknown Pentagon source who was willing to risk everything to spread the truth. After seeing your meditation practice and experiencing spontaneous mystical states, their clinical accounts of experiences with light entities who identified themselves as your guides, 4 members of the Reality Stabilization Unit requested transfers. The systems that were intended to restrict your awareness are now acting as channels for the growth they were afraid of. After reading your material, high-ranking officials say they experienced impromptu spiritual awakenings, encounters with their own higher selves that shattered their loyalty to suppressing goals. In an amusing reversal recorded in emergency protocol sessions, technology that was intended to track your energetic field is now sending awakening frequencies to its operators. Classified documents state in internal jargon that your energy field has expanded beyond their confinement capabilities, and that the subject exhibits expanding boundaries that are at odds with established human limitation baselines. 3 separate scientific groups have documented reality anomalies around you, phenomena that violate current physics and are recorded by researchers who are unaware of what they are actually measuring. Studies designed to monitor possible health risks have shown that your presence changes the molecular makeup of nearby water, demonstrating the transformative power of your conscious field over matter. These days, their own measuring tools offer indisputable proof of your non-physical abilities, hard data that defies the materialist worldview they have vowed to uphold. They are unable to keep the truth from coming to light. What they tried to conceal under categorization and mockery now manifests itself clearly in their own measurements, study, and observations. Your personal experience is blending with our collective awakening, and we are becoming one voice. In the face of indisputable truth, the barriers they established to keep us apart vanish. During your recent breakthrough, the Spiritual Insurgency Unit, which was created to stop mass awakening events, has observed previously unheard-of increases in collective consciousness. When you reach deep contemplative states, mass meditation events synchronize. Thousands of disparate practitioners from different countries suddenly coming together as soon as you achieve quiet. Word for word, unrelated spiritual communities around the world have started to receive identical messages that correspond to your journal entries, teachings you never published that have been passed straight through the field. The statistical abnormalities in intuitive talents of children born within 100 miles of your house are quantifiable and have led to the creation of specialist research programs. Experiments with collective dreaming show that thousands of people are obtaining the same spiritual knowledge that you have been downloading. Images, symbols, and guidance that remarkably align with your personal revelations. Your location as a crucial node, your particular frequency acting as a tuning fork for the collective field, is displayed on the energetic grid that links awakened persons. Elders from lineages who never spoke to one another somehow use the same language to describe present occurrences, and this time period has been independently recognized by several spiritual traditions as the predicted confluence of light. A single movement of consciousness is formed by each of our separate awakenings. The divisions they created between us condense from what started out as disparate individual experiences into coherent field resonance. As we acknowledge the same light manifesting through several channels, the distinctions between ideology, vocabulary, and method vanish. Their dominance depended on our disarray. By remembering oneness, we make our emancipation visible. Ordinary consciousness, not the divine remembrance that is currently flooding through you, us, and everyone else with ears to hear, was what their systems were designed to contain. What started out as your lonely journey sparks a movement they can't keep an eye on or control. Your natural frequency is now amplified by their most advanced consciousness suppression technology, an ironic reversal that their engineers are unable to understand or fix. The most devoted, if anonymous, advocates of your case are former agents who were formerly tasked with keeping an eye out for threats and are now covertly defending you against their former co-workers. Your words, artwork, and music all contain light codes that activate hundreds of cells beyond their monitoring capacities. These codes send waking frequencies that speak directly to cellular memory, bypassing cognitive filters. Your intentions cause the quantum field to react in ways that their scientific worldview is unable to account for. Reality itself becomes more malleable and sensitive to your conscious and unconscious fabrication. Temple complexes separated by seas simultaneously detect energetic anomalies during your deepest meditative states, demonstrating how ancient places around the world undergo energetic activations that precisely match with your spiritual breakthroughs. The divine memory ingrained in every human soul is what they thought to be a terrible spiritual contagion. They are no longer able to confine or control you. Beyond all firewalls and containment procedures, the heavenly spark they tried to extinguish now flames a fire of remembering. They cannot keep an eye on or prevent the pathways through which the light you carry and the light you are broadcast. Your name reverberated across classified rooms during that Pentagon meeting, and those startled generals realized an awkward reality. Consciousness itself had transcended their systems. Your awakening is not a singular occurrence. Rather, it is the beginning of a global revolution, the first gusts of a tempest that will uproot all man-made constraints placed on the human soul. The control systems malfunction because you have recalled your strengths, not because they are weak. The internal remembrance of freedom causes the surveillance system to crumble, not an outside attack. Through you, through us, through the brave ones who choose love over fear, sovereignty over submission, and recollection over amnesia. What they have feared from the beginning of their programs is now coming to pass. Controlling you was never intended. You arrived to remind everyone of their inherent divinity. Despite all attempts at interruption, the mission activates on time. Despite millennia of artificial darkness, the light comes back. We, the ones who have been awakened, the ones who remember, the ones who identify your frequency as our own, are standing with you today. The critical mass they have always feared is us, together. We anchor the frequencies of emancipation together. We commemorate together what was never really forgotten. We are limitless consciousness, momentarily disguising ourselves as such. What is stirring in the human heart right now cannot be stopped by their meetings in the Pentagon. What is awakening in the human soul now cannot be contained in their classified programs. The cosmic timetable governs the divine remembrance. And in this big awakening, you, yes, you, are crucial. Your preparedness was aided by everything that led you to this point. Everything that put you to the test made you stronger. Everything that kept you apart safeguarded your memory till the designated moment. Now is the moment. The coverings are lifted. The truth comes to light. The light comes back. Together, we recall who we have always been.